He majored in economics, he mastered in education, and he doctored in law. Ladies and gentlemen, your friend and America's Jim Jordan.
Good things in life don't just happen. If you want to accomplish anything of meaning, anything of significance, anything of lasting value, it takes work, it takes effort, and most importantly, it takes a willingness to assume risk. Whenever you try to accomplish something that matters, there's a chance you might fail. And that alone keeps a lot of people from ever trying. Do what you said you would do. What'd you tell the American people you're gonna do? Go do that. All it comes down to is a little toughness and a little willingness to just do what you said and have a little bit of discipline. And so our charge and challenge is real simple. Just defend the principles that made us special in the first place. We live in the greatest country ever. We should never forget that, but we got some work to do.
We're from St. Paris, Ohio, where my mom and dad grew up. Holly and I have known each other since 4th grade. We met because I grew up wrestling her brothers. We were married while we were in college. The Lord has blessed us with 4 wonderful kids. My dad was a wonderful guy who made all kinds of sacrifices for my brother, my sister, and I. My dad was one of those guys, total old school, has a heart the size of Texas and would do anything for you. But the things he did for us, getting us started in the sport, doing what parents do. I say all the time, one of the neat things about our country that I think makes us such a special place is this simple concept that parents will make sacrifices for their kids so that when their kids grow up, they can have life better than they did. And then they, in turn, when they become parents, will do the same thing for their children. And each generation does that for the next. And we get this amazing thing we call America, where we have this unbelievable standard of living and so many opportunities to chase down our goals and our dreams.
The American people are a family. Your team is your family. I've seen it with your life. I've seen it personally. I've seen it with Jim's life. So I know that's the parallel, especially with regard to faith as well. In our sport, it's the #1 thing we talk about is families. Both you and Jim have got a greater purpose, that your life isn't just based on performance. You know you answer to a higher power.
He's one of my heroes here in Congress. He's a true patriot. He's a friend. He's an honorable man. He's a person that everybody looks up to here in Washington, D.C. You can always count on him to do the right thing and to represent the people of his district with honor and integrity.
Met Jim in Gallagher-Iba Arena my sophomore year.
We had the NCAA championships that year. That was your sophomore year. You weren't even 20 years old, and it was the last meaningful match that you ever lost.
Wrestling Jim Jordan that night changed me forever. It allowed me to go into a process, really deep into a process of being the best wrestler in the world. That match showed me how far behind I was. I totally committed myself to the sport. If you can't learn from your defeats, especially against your opponents, then where are you going to go? I always point to that match in my hometown of setting the stage for me to win 6 world championships.
Jim came from Ohio, was a 4-time high school state champion, and he was a 3-time All-American and 2-time Big Ten champion, earning 2 NCAA titles. Jim had exceptional technique, extreme conditioning. He's one of the most dogged and persistent winners I ever coached. He still holds the record for 156 career wins.
As you go through life, you know, the lessons that you've learned through the sport, there's no question. That's what kind of grinds you out through the tough times. You think of Jim Jordan and his role in Washington. The guy's there for the people. Each and every day he's fighting. He knows how to fight. He's been a wrestler and he's been a coach. His team now is the American people. You can see the fight in him on a daily basis.
Jim Jordan, how great is he? How great is he? How great is he?
In 18 months, taxes lowered, economy growing at a record rate, unemployment at its lowest in 20 years. The embassy is going to Jerusalem. That's what's happened under the president's leadership.
What a great defender he's been. What courage. I'll tell you what, there's a brave, tough cookie. I don't want to wrestle him. He's tough.
Discipline, doing what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it. It meant doing things the right way when you'd rather do them the convenient way. If you can impact policy in a way that you know is helping the families back home that you represent and is helping the country, that's what you're trying to accomplish.